Stress affects us both mentally and physically. It affects our health. And in these modern times, in modern society, we're all surrounded by stress, but there are ways to manage your stress and therefore not let it bring you down and not have it have that unhealthy effect on you. So there's three well-known methods. So the first one is exercise. And you don't need, I know I'm a coach, but I don't need to be a coach to tell you this. If you go to see a therapist, this is also one of the first pieces of advice they'll give you. Because when someone's stressed, right, when we're feeling stressed, what happens? We go to the fridge, people smoke more, people don't exercise as much because they're in that rut and that feeling of being overwhelmed by stress. Exercising is going, now you need to push yourself to do it at the start. So if you're in that situation, you mightn't feel like doing the exercise, but you just got to do it anyway. Start going by, let's say, going for a walk, maybe doing just even the warm-up type movements, and that lead you on then to exercise, because it's going to help release endorphins. And those endorphins are then going to, what those endorphins do is give you that feeling of control. And what's one of the main causes of stress? It's the person who feels like they're not in control of their lives. So get exercise and get those feel-good hormones firing. Try to do it daily if you're someone who's very stressed. So do our workouts, and then in between do other things. Do the warm-ups, even just the warm-ups alone, or get out for a walk and those types of things. So then the second one is to be aware of your environment and what is causing the stress. Because it's not the environment that causes it, it's how you perceive it. So instead of focusing now on what you can't do, focus on what you can. Focus on the positive things that you can do. Following up with the mindset videos that I have, reading back over materials, you can spend more time getting started on exercise. So focus on the things that you can do. And just remember that. So it's not the event that makes you stress, it's how you perceive it. And then the third thing that you can do as well is get a good understanding of your goals and your values. So we all know, we've set goals and stuff, but what I want to do now is, for the purpose of this, is focus on your values. So how do you feel that you're living up to your values? So there's a couple of different ways to do this. One is called the Epitaph Test, and the other is it's called the deathbed test. And what reminded me of this was a really nice poem, and it was called, how you spend your dash. That's what it's about. So how it goes is, there was a guy, he's at a funeral, he's talking to the group, and he's looking at a tombstone, and obviously there's the date the person was born, the date they died, with a dash in the middle. And it goes that the person was saying, those dates aren't important, when they were born and when they died. It's the dash, how you spent your dash, the time spent in the middle. And this goes with the Epitaph Test, because that's more, how that goes is that, it's a really good test to figure out, are you living up to your values? Because it's like, what are you known for? So on your tombstone, what would be written about you if someone had to write a few lines about you? So is it that this person was a grafter, a hard worker, did all the overtime, the best accountant out there, the best person that's working in the supermarket, clothes shop, whatever it is. So, what are you most known for? And then, is that something that's living up to your values? Because most people's values is they want to be loved, they want to give love, they want to be surrounded by people they care for, and they want to do things that they enjoy. But is that what you're known for? How are you spending your dash? So if that's not the case now, then what can you do? What steps can you put in place to live up to your values, to live like those things you cherish? Can you implement those into your life more? And then put it in the steps to make you do that. It's like the deathbed one that I mentioned. So as you probably know, when people talk about the regrets on their deathbed, a large percentage talk about that they didn't spend enough time with their loved ones. So we get a lot of clarity, obviously, in that situation when people are looking back. So, and the biggest regret is that they worked too much, basically. So, are you living up to your values now? And if not, what can you put in place to make sure that you are, in fact, living up to your values? That, in effect, is going to reduce stress. So these are just 3 simple steps. I can go into this in more detail, and I will go into it, and give more advice on this topic. But for now, focus on those.